Namaskar. On National Startup Day 2026, Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised India's young entrepreneurs for making India the world's third largest startup ecosystem with over 2 lakh startups and 21 lakh jobs created. Now, he also emphasized that young innovators they are solving, what are they doing? They are solving real problems, spreading innovation beyond metros into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities and driving India towards its vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. So in the next 30 minutes, we're going to journey into the minds of 3 trailblazing startup founders, national award winners, who are turning bold dreams into reality and propelling India's innovation engine forward. So this year marks a decade of the Startup India initiative. Startup India was launched on the 16th of January 2016 by Prime Minister Modi as a transformative national program to nurture innovation and promote entrepreneurship and to enable investment-driven growth with the objective of making India a nation of job creators rather than job seekers. So over the past decade, Startup India has emerged as a cornerstone of India's economic and innovation architecture. Recalling that Startup India was started 10 years ago, Prime Minister Modi expressed satisfaction with the growth of the initiative and was happy, in fact, to meet the youth.
भारत आज दुनिया का थर्ड लार्जेस्ट स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम है। 10 साल पहले देश में 500 से भी कम स्टार्टअप्स थे। आज ये संख्या बढ़कर 2 लाख से ज्यादा है। 2014 में भारत में सिर्फ 4 यूनिकॉर्न थे। आज भारत में करीब 125 एक्टिव यूनिकॉर्न है।
And the Prime Minister pointed out that in 2025, India registered 44,000 new startups, marking the biggest jump in any single year since the launch of the Startup India initiative.
पिछले ही साल यानी 2025 में करीब 44,000 और नए स्टार्टअप रजिस्टर हुए हैं। ये स्टार्टअप इंडिया की शुरुआत के बाद किसी एक साल के सबसे बड़ा जंप है ये आंकड़े इस बात के गवाह है कि हमारे स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम इनोवेशन और ग्रोथ को किस तरह ड्राइव कर रहे हैं।
And let me introduce you to 3 award-winning startups who are with me in the studio. Dr. Harsh Sethi is the CEO and founder of Nano Technologies, which improves efficiency, productivity, and also reduces maintenance costs of solar panels. Aishwarya Karnataki is the founder and the CEO of Glovatrix, an award-winning deep tech startup building AI-powered communications for the deaf and also speech impaired. And Dishant Shah is the founder director of Blue Phoenix Technologies, a medical device innovation company which is focused on making safer forms of interventional surgical care. Thank you, all 3 of you, for being with us. Let me start with a question for all of you. Now, each one of you has started with a bold vision. So, I mean, you have clean energy, you have inclusive AI, you have medical devices, advanced medical healthcare. What actually was the turning point when you thought that your idea could actually become a product? Start with you, sir.
So we were actually in 2015, oil prices had gone very high, and Indian government was pushing the national oil companies to look for alternative sources of energy. That's when the blending came in and renewable energy came in. So one of our customers, they decided to put up, I was into fossil fuel, oil and gas, and one of our customers decided to put up a solar farm, 120 megawatt. But when they did, they faced challenges of lower efficiency, and they compared it with the refinery, and also they had to use local villagers, wherein local villagers used to climb on the panels and did the cleaning, so that caused some major cracks.
Okay.
So that led to very low efficiency and drop in the revenue. So that's where we started the journey.
Indeed. What about you, ma'am?
So we started the journey in 2021 with a very new concept of developing gloves that translate sign language to voice.
Okay.
Something like this was never done before, and we started it as a hobby, as a side project. And we actually thought of turning it into a full-fledged product when Startup India took a leap of faith in us and gave us 15 lakh rupees of grant. And that's where it all started.
What about you, Mr. Shah?
So, medical devices has always been a sunrise sector in India, and especially before the pandemic and the MDR 2017 rules were basically put out. So these two global events basically were the turning point, because that basically highlighted the lack of medical infrastructure in India just before the pandemic. And this was already highlighted because the MDR 2017 rules were being put into place. So we were already in the manufacturing sector. My family has been in precision manufacturing. And we already were receiving a lot of inputs from surgeons like Dr. Glovatrix sir and Dr. Nitin Zabak sir in Mumbai, which were key laparoscopic surgeons, and they were very much interested in improving the surgical outcomes for patient care. And that is where we started collaborating on high quality medical devices, and the pandemic basically propelled this innovation.
Dr. Sethi, so in deep tech, one gets the understanding that, this takes a lot of time for R&D. So how did you overcome that and, bring your product to market quickly?
So initially it took us a lot of time from the lab research field, but we got help from Science IIT Bombay, plus also help from MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And then of course the Startup India, the grants, the METI grant, and the ecosystem which India has developed for startup, that helped us to come to a stage from wherein we could easily pass on easily graduate from the lab scale to the commercial scale. So today we are doing commercial projects which are more than 100 megawatt.
Ms. Karnataki, how did you, first identify your customers and, take your product and basically convince them that, it's a critical field after all. So how did you convince them that it's going to be something that will work?
So my customers are organizations which hire deaf people as their employees, and this becomes a workplace communications tool, while my consumers are the deaf people who rely on sign language to communicate. There was a lot of excitement from the consumer side because this gives them the independence, but in terms of customers, we had to show them a live demo or a live pilot wherein these gloves brought productivity to the inclusion initiative. And when they saw the results, they were quite happy with it.
Indeed. Mr. Shah, once, your product was, it had a proof of concept.
Correct.
So in that context, what strategies are you adopting now to scale up? And after all, this is a, I mean, it's an intervention that is obviously going to be, can have a lot of scale.
Yeah. So basically, when we started with this, we started with parts initially, medical device parts. So we started collaborating with surgeons like Dr. Uddhav sir and Dr. Nitin Zabak sir for developing an entire product.
Okay.
So we wanted to focus on upcoming technologies, and minimally invasive surgeries is one of them, and now robotic surgeries have also come in. So we started developing these types of products. I have won Smart India Hackathon twice. So like during my college days, I was very much due to these programs, I was very much accustomed to these types of product development cycles. So through that we started like this journey in 2021 after the pandemic got over, And due to the support of various grants like SISFS that was provided by SPTBI to us, Nidhi Prayas by TimeEd. So these types of grants basically supported our journey in initial prototyping and scaling up. And finally now Magic Incubator, NSR Cell and other IHMR startups and other like larger medical device incubators are now supporting us in manufacturing setups and basically propagating our product outside of India where we already have the licenses to sell. Basically we are now trying to put up a manufacturing facility so that we can export, and now that we also have US patents and European patents granted. So that has been our journey.
Indeed, and talking about patents, how important is this to patent your product? And also in terms of competition, is this when people start with startups, there is after all they require a lot of help. I mean, you just might have an idea, but you have to make it into a company, you have to make it into a business. The government comes in, right?
Yep.
The government has provided you with some sort of hand-holding in a sense, right from that's all the startup mission is all about.
Yes.
So, I mean, let me ask each one of you, to what extent has the startup mission really helped you?
The startup mission has helped up in the sense that the ecosystem where the incubation, accelerator and the grants plus the consultants and other whole people who are there to support you, to guide you through, including the government departments. They are there to guide you through what stages you can get the help from, and not only the patent part of it, IP part of it, but also the legal and the other compliances part of it.
So and what about also market branding, all this sort of thing? Is that also part of, or that's really part of your own initiatives?
Normally, like when we started as a deep tech company, we started at TRL 3 or 4, technology readiness level 3 or 4, and then gradually moving to 7 and 8. That's where when you come across the market readiness. So they see that the product is ready to be scaled up, and then it can be put out to the market. So then they ensure that, and then you have to ensure that you are reaching out to the right market, your customer fit is right, and then you go out to do it yourself.
Sure. Ms. Karnataki, what help did you get from the startup mission?
So the startup mission definitely helped us with the patent. When we got the grant of Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, we didn't just get the financial support, but we also got mentoring support.
Okay.
And in that, we were told the importance of intellectual property, and we applied the patent not just in India but in the US through PCT as well. And just last year, that patent was recognized by World Intellectual Property Organization in Geneva by giving us a global award. And we were the first Indian startup to ever reach that state. So yes, definitely in terms of patents, it was the India Skill Mission which helped us get there.
What about you, Mr. Shah? Just walk us through the steps that government has helped in taking your product forward and giving you, helping you meet your dreams and you meeting India's dreams.
So as I mentioned, SIH was a key, so Smart India Hackathon initiative was a key program that basically helped us budding engineers basically to understand product development cycles by actually providing us with industrial problems to actually solve solutions for. So that was my starting point, and I already had a manufacturing background through my high precision family business.
Right.
So I was in a very good position to do something innovative in the medical device and high precision industry. And these types of different grants helped us in prototyping, and even initiatives like quality reimbursement schemes and IPR reimbursement schemes by MSIN and the Maharashtra State Innovation Society, as well as the central government basically helped us in financing our patents and expenses and our testing expenses, which were instrumental in getting these licenses for medical device registration in India and even outside. So that were some key areas where we received
Mr.
government
Sethi,
support.
I mean, for the common man, deep tech, one feels that it requires partnerships, collaborations.
Yes.
So I mean, after all, you're going deep, right? So in that idea, you have to take the best knowledge from various sources. Is there? I mean, what kind of? Let us know a little bit about the process. about how whether there's collaborations involved with universities, or how have you gone forward?
Yeah, deep tech really involves quite a number of collaborations, because you need to have a lot of testing facilities and calibrations and other facilities. So we did with Sign IIT Bombay. We were incubated by them. So we have a MOU with IIT Bombay, also National Center for Photovoltaic Research and Education, which is NCPRE. National Institute of Solar Energy, which is in Delhi. So these three institutes are prime institutes in terms of solar energy. Then we also did talk to Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, which were very much instrumental when we required testing. So they help us in getting testing at these labs at very cheap rates. Also International Solar Agency, which is based in India, they also helped a lot in promoting the technology across other borders as well.
Mr. Shah and Ms. Karnataki, so your products also, medical devices, AI for accessibility, all this would require standards, isn't it? I mean, you have to meet tough standards. So in that context, what is the regulatory scrutiny that you'll have to go through to try and get your products to market?
You first.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So, because this is a non-invasive device, there aren't too many clinical trials as such that are required. A normal BIS certification, which is required for any consumer electronic products like smartwatch, is enough for us to get started with.
What about you?
So, in contrast to that, ours is a completely invasive device.
Right.
So, we basically had to go through ISO 13485 certifications initially. That basically set up the medical device QMS for us and our organization. After that, we, as I mentioned, were in the process of doing a lot of medical tests, biocompatibility tests, electric safety tests. And after completion of all those tests, we were able to register our products in Class B and Class C of CDSCO MDR 2017 regulations. So that was like the main regulatory process that we went through.
Sure.
And now we are basically trying to go for C and USFDA for exports.
So do these compliances come in the way of your innovation, or or your zeal to innovate, creating new products, or on your R&D, or is it some sort of a boost? So that you have to make your product better.
So, as I said, there aren't too many invasive compliances or clinical trials that we have to go through.
But you have to sell your product abroad, so maybe they have some ideas, no? Even there, it's the same thing.
Even there aren't, because it's a non-invasive product.
True.
So, whatever testing is required is just on the electronics part of it, and so far it has not caused us too much trouble. Going down the line, we'll have to figure.
So even in your case, you would have to require some lots of regulatory compliances, right?
Yeah.
So how do you go about that?
So there isn't any national or international standard for these kind of cladding coating, and therefore we have to approach NABL approved labs so that they can conduct the testing which is there for solar panels. In addition to that, we have to get the POC done, proof of concept done, and some pilots done with the customers to ensure that they also get the same results, and they give us certification of results which they find it useful for them. So that we use to convince other customers.
So no, the reason why I ask this is because a person comes with an idea and you take it to market, but there are all sorts of certain obstacles one can look at it, and that can set you off, and you can probably just say, okay, I'm giving up. But what kept all of you going? I'm not saying that there are too many stringent regulatory hurdles. There's also, after all, the government has helped you along the way. But for anybody who's starting a company, what kind of advice would you have? Let's start with you, ma'am.
Sure. So while compliances were not something that got in our way too much, there were times where things were very, very difficult, because if you look in terms of the product, we work at the confluence of hardware, embedded systems, app, AI, cloud, and most importantly, social impact.
Right.
So it was the social impact that kept us going. Even when we were running out of funds, even when the technology was being difficult, what kept us going and helped us get successful was when we looked at the deaf people and how excited they were to get their independence through this product.
Indeed. What about you, Mr. Shah?
So for us, the turning point came when we came to know, and surgeons told us that out of in electrosurgery and minimally invasive, roughly 75 to 80% of the products used are imported. So we are like almost completely import dependent.
Right.
As well as the like indigenous manufacturing was at like 10 years back, roughly it was not that organized. So people were very skeptical on Indian manufacturing, at least in the medical device sector, and there was a stark difference between the qualities of different brands that were available. So we felt that India itself is a manufacturing, you can say, talent house, and we strongly believe that if we are going into it with the right approach, we can actually develop a product that can meet the global standards. So
Indeed, but
yeah.
looking at technology that is available in robotics,
Correct.
especially for surgery, I mean, does that take away from your product?
So in fact, we are now collaborating with robotic surgery companies where they do not have expertise per se in the surgical instruments that are interfaced with their robots. So now we are partnering with various Indian and foreign robotic companies that want us to develop our patented technologies and retrofit them to their robotic machines so that they can basically provide better surgical care. So that is a plus point.
Mr. Sethi, what's the roadmap ahead for you? I mean, we are, of course, a country that is bathed in the sun. We have India scale, I suppose. A young man was talking about India scale and world scale at this event. So what's your scale?
So right now we are focusing on India market because India itself is something close to a 10 billion market in terms of installed capacity of solar plus manufacturing capacity. But when we talk of international concepts, international competition, Chinese today, when they talk of these kind of coatings, they don't even give you a warranty for 3 months.
Okay.
While our coating has been tested at IIT Bombay for more than 10 years of life. Plus we are one of the cheapest available in the market at 95 paise per watt. So that gives a customer the advantage of getting not only the higher power output by 4%, but also reducing the operation and maintenance expenses and cutting down on water for cleaning purpose. India today as an agriculture country, we would like to conserve the water, and we have shortages of water in certain parts of country. So our technology eliminates the use of water for cleaning of solar panels, and also enables us to economize the cost of green electricity. So thereby we hope that with this technology we would be able to compete in the international market. Our solar panel manufacturers would be able to compete with the Chinese one, and we would be able to gather to the international markets.
Indeed, I'll come back to all of you. We'll just listen to some more of the award winners. We'll listen to what they had to say. You know, as Startup India completes the historic milestone of 10 years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the culture of innovation embraced by the youth of the nation. 20 startups were awarded for excellence in diverse domains. Let's listen into some of their reactions.
We convert bad water to good water, sewage water, mimicking a cow stomach. Cow stomach process we mimic in a civil chambers, and then we convert. That's what we do. Modi's vision is great. We are making it into reality. We are now in his Swachh Bharat vision. We are now, as a startups, we are making it reality. We are now in 400 plus customers in 25 states, and we have started in Maldives and Bangladesh, Make in India for the world.
We have our proprietary and smart IoT cattle health monitoring solution. This solution measures the heat, the health alert and the behavior changes in the animal besides the herd level analytics. This solution is used by various dairy farmers across the country to better manage their dairy farms, improving their milk yield, providing on-time care to the animals and helping better reproduction cycles. We believe that this initiative is going to propel a lot of youngsters and new generation entrepreneurs coming in and bringing technology to the nation.
We are co-founders of Potion First. We are a nutrition-focused startup focusing on encouraging intake of fiber, which is supposing star to the protein. Our idea is to make health and nutrition easy, accessible and enjoyable. And we make freeze-dried, fiber-rich smoothies and soups and meals and help support the food environment by dispensing these through vending machines and other easier options.
I'm the founder of a company called Timble AI. We won the best sort of fintech revolution catalyst award. At Timble, we build AI agents to help detect fraud. We process over 40 lakh odd loan applications a month, work with about 100 banks in India. We use AI agents to help sort of weed out fraud and help everybody get equitable access to credit. Reflecting back on what the Prime Minister said today, it was very heartening, especially for us. I think what the chord that touched for me was that, about 10 years back, there were 500 startups. Now there are 2 lakh plus startups. And it just goes to show what focus can bring in terms of not just a revolution for us, but also a revolution for 2 lakh plus startups across the country.
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have in this discussion. I'd like to thank Dr. Harsh Sethi, Aishwarya Karnataki, and Dishant Shah for joining us and explaining to us about their products and for enlightening us, about India's startup movement and the potential it has. Now, as we close this discussion, one thing is clear. India's startup story is no longer just about ideas. It's about impact, from clean energy, as we see, to inclusive AI, to life-saving medical devices, ventures like Nano technologies, Glovatrix and Blue Phoenix Technologies. They embody the spirit of innovation that is reshaping our nation, not only creating jobs and opportunities, but also solving problems, as the Prime Minister says, real problems that matter. So the journey ahead is bold. The future of Indian startups, 200,000 plus of them, and 125 unicorns, has never looked brighter. Thanks very much for watching. Namaskar.